Hey everyone, Mike Lawson here. And in this video, we're going to continue on John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And law number 6 is the law of solid ground. And this is going to be a great quick training here. I know I'm coming a little late today, but this is going to be a great training. So trust is the foundation of leadership. And in this video, I want to give you 6 tips on how to get people to trust you. So if you're leading any type of, organization, or you're in sales, or you need to be in a leadership position, you want to pay attention to this video. So how do you establish trust with your leaders? Is there a way? Do you have a certain technique? How do you establish trust? And it's not easy to do. It's oftentimes difficult to establish trust with people, especially if you first, just met somebody. Now, hola, Juneth. See, trust is developed by competence and character. See, when you do something well, that means you're competent. You're showing you're competent. Maybe you're very successful in your company, right? And people look up to you and that's competence, right? They respect you. They respect you because you're competent, right? And you know what you're doing, okay? But, and they know that you're good. You're already successful. And let's say you're at the top. Maybe, you're a high position in your company, okay? So people follow you because you're already successful. That's competence, right? You're already doing well. But competence alone is not enough, right? I knew people, in my previous company where ultra successful, top earners in the company, but lacked character. And it's just a matter of time. See, time either promotes you or exposes you. Now, you have to have good character. You need to be true to your word. You need to have integrity. If you say you're going to do something, you need to do it, right? So in, my first company, one of the leaders that, again, was competent, very successful, a little arrogant, but very successful, but lacked character. He would tell, or she would tell people that they were going to be, they would do a home presentation. I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you. Now listen, this isn't just one person. This happens a lot, and it may even happen in your company, right? So, again, if you say you're going to do something, make sure you do it. But in particular, this happened in my business, where people that were in a leadership role would promise to go do a certain meeting, and, but because they didn't have enough people there, those people wouldn't go and show up and support that meeting because they didn't have enough people to show up. Well, see, that's a lack of character, because if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. I don't care if nobody shows up. And the funny thing is, we used to joke and promote that. Listen, invite all these people over to your house. And guess what? If no one shows up, one person's going to be there. I'm going to be there. And then we're going to do some training. But it got to the point where people would make promises and then they wouldn't fulfill them. Okay? So that's where people lack in character. Don't lack in character. If you say you're going to do something, make sure that you do it. See, it's neither competence or character. It's not one or the other. It's both. See, trust is both competence and character. That's the law of solid ground. And sales skills are just people skills, right? You need to care about people. You've heard me say about this before. You got to care more about people than you do, other things. If you're in the people business, if you want to build a successful sales team or a large organization, you need to care about people. I mean, this is just basic stuff. So let me go ahead and give you 6 tips to get people to trust you. Number 1, greet them warmly. How are you greeting people? See, most people, on a daily basis, we meet people, right? And they forget us. But people will never forget how you make them feel. So when you meet somebody, greet them warmly. Greet them like, they're an old friend that you haven't seen forever. So when you meet somebody, just make them feel warm. Make them feel good, right? And smile. And give them a deep smile. And I did this to my niece earlier today, and I just started smiling at her. When you smile at people, that exudes warmth. And warmth creates trust. Maybe not right away, but over time. Now, number 2, talk slowly. This is something that I had to work on for a very long time. And as you can see, I still talk quite fast. But you need to be not only talking slowly, but you want to talk deliberately. You want to talk intentionally. See, when I first started to, get out of my comfort zone and public speak and do presentations, I was so nervous. So I just rambled on and on and on and on and on. now I can see why that I didn't have that much success at that time. I had to go through that, right? Because I was just nervous and I was just kind of, I just wanted to get through the presentation. I mean, presentations used to take me, I don't know, 4 minutes. But and the funny thing is, when you get good, they tend to go longer, right? Because you're more comfortable, you're more confident. So a 4-minute presentation that used to take me 4 minutes, would take me 60 minutes, 70 minutes, where people, would literally be in the back of the room being like, listen, it's time to get off the stage, or, we'd be at a home meeting and I would just ramble on, as you get comfortable. See, but people respond better when people talk slowly and deliberately. And again, that creates trust. Number 3, you want to validate yourself. See, when you meet somebody, you want to find something, a common ground, something that you have in common with somebody. Maybe it's a particular city that you grew up in, or a particular, sports franchise that you can relate, something that you can relate and you can validate. And here's another example. If you find somebody, and it's amazing where if you start having a conversation with people long enough, 6 degrees of separation, you'll eventually get to a point where, oh my God, I know that person, right? And if there's anybody that you can find where there's some common ground, or somebody, yeah, hey, Tom, oh, I know Tom. Oh, Tom is a great guy, right? That validates yourself. It validates who you are. And again, that just adds trust, a component to trust as well. Number 4, listen intently and be present. And this should probably be number 1, because when you have let me ask you this. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody, right? And that person is they're looking at their phone, they're looking around, they're not looking at you, they're not paying attention. I mean, it's just rude. It's disrespectful. When you have conversations with people, here's what I want you to do. You look them in the eye and you be present in the conversation. When you're talking to that person, act like you're the only person in the room. I don't care if you're in a stadium with 30,000 people. You're talking to that person. Give them the respect. They're the only person in the room, right? And in my first company, one of the owners, he was so good at this. And this is one thing that I admire from him. When he was having a conversation with you, nothing else mattered. And this was the owner of the company. And then I would see him, hours later talking to somebody else. And I would walk by and say, hey, and he wouldn't even acknowledge it because he was deeply in that conversation with somebody else. So be present when you're having conversations with people. It shows a sign of respect, not only a sign of respect, but again, it creates trust, right? Because I'm sure when you pay attention, when you're having conversation with people, pay attention to this. When they start looking around and they're looking at their feet, or they're looking all around the room, they're not paying attention to your conversation. It's just rude. Now, number 5, ask great questions. Okay, show interest in people. Ask them questions like, hey, how did you get into that field, or how did you get into this business? And ask and be genuinely interested in them. So ask great questions, okay? And great questions are, again, tell me about what you do, like care about them. How did you get into this? Oh, you have kids? How many kids do you have? How old are they? What do they like to do? Find out about that person. Again, that creates trust. Number 6, validate them. And here's what I mean by that. You agree with them. So let's say, you're building an organization, and let's say, somebody's having a hard time. They're having a difficult time. They say, man, I'm struggling. I just can't make this work. I'm struggling with this. I'm in sales and nobody's buying. I'm just having a bad day. Instead of saying, you know what, you didn't talk to enough people, or how many people did you talk to? Instead of that, saying, you know what, I can totally agree. This is a tough business. You're going to have bad days, right? You want to validate them, validate their feelings. Again, that creates trust. Okay. One thing that somebody used to do is, and it was a great exercise. He would literally, as one of the leaders, he would go around and grab everybody's daytimers and say, let me see your daytimer, and would open it up and see what activity you had going on, for the week or for the month. Or he would go back and say, I can see why you're not making any money, because you didn't have any meetings or presentations going on, right? So that wasn't necessarily validating people's feelings. That kind of made people not feel good, but it worked. There was a different point to it, right? I mean, you may be able to do that. I don't recommend that until you really have some good, relationships with people on your team. Okay. But in the meantime, you want to validate, people's feelings. So when they feel a certain way, agree with them. Validate their feelings, okay? Don't be selling them or telling them what they should do, what they shouldn't do. If somebody's having a bad day, say, I can totally agree with that. I totally understand because I've been there. So validate them. So I hope those 6 tips help, guys. If you found this video helpful, useful, please like it, share, comment. Love to hear, where you're watching from, and also, tag people on your team. Show people, this video. I think this is, this law of solid ground is one of the best. We're going to continue the entire month with the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Also, make sure you turn on notifications so you know next time I go live. Hey, have a great day, everybody.